Hey guys, so I am hosting for my very special uncle who's traveling very far away to come visit me. Hi Boris, his little paws down there. I want to walk you through how I hosted for him, my grandma, my sister outlaw, my brother, and my parents, and Clay. So here is how I did it. This was a pizza dip I made from a package. It was so good. So I highly recommend that. I don't have a recipe because it came with a package, but it makes it super easy. So buy a package. And now I'm making a charcuterie board in a way. So I got like all these cheeses and meats you can see here. So I'm just lining it on a board, and then I realized I needed to do it all separate. So here are some pictures of our little evening in our little gazebo because the bugs were bad. And don't forget to add a dessert. So here is an outline of everything that I made, minus the dip is not in this picture. So I wanted to show you guys this and just kind of explain to you what I did. So it was actually a fairly easy way to host, very simple. It might look complicated, but we can simplify it because when you host, you really want to be present and enjoy your company. That's the whole purpose of it, right? So let me show you here what I did. So we're going to start at the top of the photo. So we have a savory bowl. So right here, you can see I have pickled banana peppers, olives, pickled garlic, pickled asparagus, and pickles. So it's a very savory bowl. I put them all in the same one because it's the same category to save dishes, another keynote here, and to save space. So that was a really fun one. The guests really loved the olives. The garlic was spicy, and some of them really loved that. The peppers were a huge hit, and of course, my mom's homemade pickles are always a hit. If you guys are interested, I wish I could sell them to you because, oh my goodness, they are so good. Or gift them to you because you guys are my favorites. So, moving down the table, we have the cracker bowl. So you can see here I have, actually, if you take a look at the whole photo, I have these starfish serving bowls. So, I mean, you don't have to get fancy, but you can get creative. So I've been holding on to these since I think I was 12 years old, and I never knew what I wanted to do with them. I thought maybe one day I'll put jewelry in them or something, but I thought it would be fun to host with them. So get creative or just do something simple. It's totally up to you how you want to host and what you want to do. You can have themes, you can mix and match, you can do whatever you need to do. So I have about five different crackers. Some are flavored, some are not, and you can see actually on the left side there's these little round pitas, and those little round pitas were good for like the dip and putting cheese on and things like that. I thought it was a nice touch, something soft. Actually, I will say my grandma has a hard time eating crunchy things, so she couldn't eat any of the crackers. However, she could eat the soft pitas. So that's something to keep in mind too, is a variety of other things for people with maybe sensitive mouths. Yeah, now in the center, you can see that I have a red square. You can't see it illuminated in the photo, but it's this glitter piece of, I don't know, you like wrap gifts with it. And it's been sitting in my drawer for some time, and I thought, I don't have to just wrap gifts with this. It can be like a tablecloth or a centerpiece. So instead of doing like a tablecloth, I just did a little centerpiece. So you don't have to go all out. You can just add a small little touch. Even in this photo, if you could imagine like little flowers around the white spaces, that's a good idea too. This table was pretty small, so we didn't really have a lot of room to decorate like that, but these are just some ideas I would love to give you guys. So the meat tray, this, if you guys saw that little clip, I had these meats that me and Clay bought from Safeway. You just go to the deli and get them to shave off, or you can just buy packaged meats. However, I did go to Costco and I got a meat kit, and it came with a whole bunch of different meats, and that was so much easier than like getting everything individually purchased. So if you are someone who just wants to get it done and over with, going and getting a pre-made meat package or cheese package is definitely the way to go. Otherwise, if you want to get creative with the types of meats, getting meats from the deli is probably a better option. I will say, and I wasn't the only one that felt this way, my grandmother did not think the meat quality was very good from the Costco packaging. And I would have to agree with her. So just keep that in mind. If you're kind of going for quality, maybe you're going to want to handpick the meats. Also keep in mind, I did have 2 vegetarians at the table at the gathering. So it's always a good idea to keep your meats on a separate board. So originally what I was going to do was have a board with meat and cheese. But in the past, I have heard vegetarians say, ew, I don't want to touch that cheese because it touched a meat. So just be very respectful of people's wishes when it comes to their food habits and choices. So moving up, you see a little gold spoon. That is a little tiny container of honey. Now, I save my little dip containers when I get them from takeouts or restaurants, and I hand wash them at home and I keep them because they're awesome for like packing lunches or putting dips in them. So I filled that with honey and I sprinkled a little bit of cinnamon in it to give it a little bit of taste. And I'll get to that in a second after the cheese. So moving down, we got the cheese. And again, I got 5 different types of cheese. I think the biggest hit was because of course I used the Costco pack. The biggest hit, however, was a slab of cheese that Clay and I bought from Safeway. It was Swiss cheese right from Switzerland. And that was the biggest hit. It was so good. So again, if you want to go quality, it might be more expensive, but it definitely shows. Now, this was the biggest hit of the night. I took a cracker, I put a piece of cheese on it, and I sprinkled just a drizzle of honey, and I handed it to my guests. So it was cracker, cheese, and a little bit of honey. And if you're thinking, ew, sounds gross, hear me out. That's also what my brother said. And after he tried it, let's just say weeks after I hosted, that is my parents' and my brother's new go-to favorite snack. So that was a huge hit. That was actually my mom's favorite out of the whole meal in general. So that was something that I really wanted to try. I've never done it before. And let me tell you, it's so simple. You buy a box of crackers, you buy a slab of cheese, and you get honey, and you probably already have honey at home. It's cheap, it's simple, and it is a huge hit. And everyone there has never heard of that appetizer, if you want to call it. It was new to everyone, and it's just something so simple. So that was very, very fun. And then you see to the right of it, I have homemade salsa. That's just for the crackers. To be honest, nobody really ate it. I think because we have so much salsa at every gathering, nobody really eats it. That's a nice option for the savory. We have a bowl of pears if you're moving right to the right. I bought blush pears, and actually, just before I move on any further than that, because I think the fruit was nice with the honey, the crackers. It's a good sweet tooth option, but healthy. If you can look, and it's really hard to see, I have a little flower in the middle of every single little starfish. So the crackers, the cheese, the pears, they all have a little flower. I went outside, and when I was about to serve everything, I plucked a flower from outside, of course, made sure there were no bugs on it, and I garnished it. I also garnished each dish with just a sprinkle of hemp seeds because it adds texture, beauty, and depth, and nutrition. I know, you would never think to do it, but it's so fun. Then, of course, I have my little candy bowl, so I have just a mixture of candies that I've just had on hand. So if you have kids, younger kids, or maybe adults with a sweet tooth, this is always a good idea, especially maybe if you don't have a dessert like I showed. I did have a cheesecake, which was great at the end, especially pairing it with wine or whatever you're drinking. Some people were just having sparkling water, and that's totally fine. And then I have these cute little napkins of strawberries and little flowers on them, so you can keep it festive, you can keep it plain, you can theme the colors, it doesn't matter. And then of course we have some disposable cups. I actually washed these because they're plastic and they're pretty, but you can just throw them out. And then of course I do have a special glasses and beer and stuff like that, so we had tons of drink options, and that was our hosting. And if this wasn't enough, I actually ended up making a full meal So what I ended up doing was I made chicken gyros, and I don't know if I did a YouTube video of that yet. If I didn't, comment below if that's something you would like. It is actually one of my favorite meals of all time. Again, that was something that my mom ended up taking home. She loved it so much that I ended up making those for her another night because she wanted to learn how to do it herself, and it was something that she's never done before, and she loved them. And then for the vegetarians, instead of having chicken gyros, I made them salmon gyros. And I've never had a salmon gyro, but both of them ate it fully, and they said that they were amazing. So yeah, and then of course at the end, just a dessert if you want, and that is my hosting. And I think the biggest tip about hosting is to just be present, because that's the whole purpose of you hosting. So that is it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching my hosting tips with Samy Bee. And next time you guys are hosting, let me know if you make any of these little tips and tricks. I would love to see your guys' photos. So hashtag me, Food Friday with Samy Bee. Email me. It doesn't matter. Reach out to me on Patreon. I love to hear what you guys do. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.